This is the first video. We only get better from here.
What if today was the draft?
What if today was the draft?
Not the NFL draft,
Not the NFL draft
or the NBA draft,
or the NBA draft,
but the parent draft.
but the parent draft.
Would you be drafted?
Would you?
A lot of people neglect their child as if they made the choice to be here, as if they chose to be born. You were the one who made the decision to have that child.
You did.
You were the one who laid down and participated in the act to conceive this child.
You did.
How about if God gave every single child the opportunity to choose their parents?
How about if God did?
Would you be drafted?
Would you be drafted?
Let's imagine that we're going to play a game. It doesn't matter if it's a game of basketball where it's 5-on-5 or a game of flag football where it's 7-on-7.
7-on-7.
We know that someone's always going to be picked first. And we also know that there's always going to be someone picked last. The person who gets picked first is often better than the person who gets picked last.
True.
Which one are you?
Which one are you?
But worse than the person who gets picked last is the person who doesn't get picked at all.
Picked it all.
You often hear him say, "I got next."
I got next.
Is that you?
Is that you?
Let's go back to imagining God hosting the parent draft, where God gives every single child an opportunity to choose their
Every
parents.
single child.
The first child says, "I want him to be my father."
Show me what a man is.
The next child says, "I want him to be my father."
Love me.
The following child says, "I want him to be my father."
Take care of me.
It goes on and on until you find yourself childless. No child wants you to be their father. Now it's time for them to pick their mother.
Their mother.
The first child says, "I want her to be my mother."
Show me what a woman
The next child
is.
says, "I want her to be my mother."
Love me.
The following child says, "I want her to be my mother."
Nurture me.
It goes on and on until you find yourself childless. No child wants you to be their mother. If every single child had the opportunity to pick their parents, would you be chosen? Would you be picked? Would you be drafted? Because when they're born, they don't have a choice who their parents are.
They don't.
But you do have a choice on how to raise them.
You do.
But if God gave them a choice, would you be good enough to be on their team? Would you be good enough to lead them?
Are you?
Can you be that person you needed growing up?
Can you?
Can you mold them the way you wish you were molded?
Can you?
Can you be that person they can talk to?
Talk to.
That person they can look up to?
Look up to.
But instead of building them up, you tear them down.
Tear 'em down.
Instead of telling them that they can be great, you tell them that they're a failure.
Fail.
But if anyone has failed, you have.
You have.
Because God gave you an opportunity to mold that child.
He did.
Are you that parent that never spend time with your child
Never.
and tell them I love you?
I love you.
Are you that parent that's allowing your child to do the things that you know that's leading them to death or jail?
Are you?
Are you the reason your child has low self-esteem and looks for love in the wrong places?
Are you?
If you're that type of parent, I wouldn't choose
I
you.
would.
If I knew you wouldn't love me, I wouldn't choose
I
you.
would.
If I knew you would abuse me, I wouldn't choose
I
you.
would.
If I knew you wouldn't encourage me, I wouldn't choose
I
you.
would.
The question again is, if God gave every single child an opportunity to pick their parents, would you be drafted?
Would you?
Treat your child as if it was a draft and you wanted to be the number one pick.
Number one.
The draft was created to get the best of the best. Millions participate in sports every year, but only 1% will ever make it to the league.
1%.
Are you a part of that 1% of parents?
Are you?
In the NFL Combine, you're graded on how fast and strong you are,
Fast.
how good of a passer or catcher you
Catcher.
are. But in the parent Combine, you're graded on if you give them time and attention.
Time and attention.
Or do you come home and lock yourself behind a closed door?
Do you?
Do you love them and show them through action?
Action.
Understanding that buying them something doesn't mean that you love them.
It doesn't.
Are you a good role model?
Are you?
Don't talk the talk, but walk it.
Walk.
Show them right from wrong.
Show them.
Do you make decisions in the best interest of your child?
Your child.
Or are you still living life, letting their grandparents raise
Is
them?
that you?
Are you a safe haven for your child?
Are you?
If someone's mistreating them or abusing them, can they come and talk to you?
Can they?
Do you set high standards for yourself first?
First.
You can't expect them to do things you wouldn't do for yourself.
You can.
Do you give them the freedom to think and dream? Think back to your childhood and how your dreams were once crushed.
Crushed.
Are you firm and consistent, not letting your child run wild?
Not letting them.
It's alright not to give them everything that they want,
It's alright.
but it's wrong not to give them everything that they
They
need.
need.
If today was the parent combine, what grade would you get?
What grade would you
The
get?
question once again is, if God gave every single child an opportunity to choose their parents,
If God gave every single child the opportunity to choose,
would you be drafted?
would you be drafted?